Canadian Bulldog from Wrestling Merchandise and Memories. That's merchandiseandmemories.com. And today we're going to go through 5 awkward moments from No Holds Barred. Just before we get started, wanted to let you know that Wrestling Merchandise and Memories has more than 100 unique and conversation-starting top 50 lists on its site. Check it out at bit.ly/top 50 lists. No Holds Barred was released in June 1989 by New Line Cinema, starring Hulk Hogan as Rip and Tiny Lister as Zeus. Over the past 35 years, the film has continually been panned by wrestling fans and non-wrestling fans alike for its terrible acting, ridiculous plot, and overall its poor attempt at being a Dollar General wrestling version of Rocky. But instead of bashing the film, we're going to focus on 5 moments that are so awkward, so cringy, that you may never be able to view the film the same way again. Number 1, Vince's billionaire fantasy. Nearly a decade before he became the evil Mr. McMahon character, Vince McMahon fetishized the evil billionaire character. He must have seen Ted Turner in that role at some point, and it's no coincidence that he dreamt up the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase persona. In No Holds Barred, Kurt Fuller chews the scenery as the evil billionaire Mr. Brell, who will stop at nothing to sign Rip to his fledgling television network. Hulk Hogan says he can't be bought for any price. Bullshit. And demurely responds, "I won't take your money, Mr. Brell." Much in the manner most television negotiations go down, Brell taunts Rip until Hogan tears up the check and literally shoves it down Brell's throat, all because Vince McMahon saw himself as the enemy of the evil corporate billionaire. Number 2. Come on, you knew this one was coming. After Brell is unable to buy out Rip, he sends his hired goons to trap the WWF champion and physically intimidate him until he, changes his mind? Wasn't the best plan in hindsight. Rip, of course, breaks out of the limo dramatically, beats up the goons, and then goes after the crooked limo driver, who promptly craps himself. But I'd be robbing you if I didn't include the full audio from this very memorable scene.
What's that smell?
Number 3, sleepover party. Rip is introduced to a new publicist named Samantha, who's actually working for Mr. Brell, but we don't know that yet. And the two constantly tease sexual tension. Eventually, they travel together for business and are given a single hotel room with one bed to share between them, because that's something that happens. Ever the gentleman, Rip decides to rig a clothesline, no, not that kind of clothesline, and blanket in between the two sides of the bed, and then Samantha wakes up in the middle of the night to see the other side of the bed bouncing up and down and squeaking. But get your heads out of the gutter, perverts. Rip is simply doing push-ups with his feet on the bed while all oiled up and wearing bikini briefs. Nothing awkward going on here, no sir. And of course, Rip literally elbow drops back onto his side of the bed with such force that Samantha has no choice but to roll right on top of him. That doesn't happen! Who wrote this shit? Oh, right. Number 4, power slap. Back at evil billionaire headquarters, Mr. Brell confronts Samantha for failing to turn Rip to the dark side and questions why she suddenly has the hots for him. So do I, for that matter. That whole push-up, elbow drop on the bed sequence was more than a little cringe. Anywho, then Brell decides to rear back and just slap Samantha in the face so hard that she bounces off the furniture and onto the floor. I remember being a youngster when this film came out and thinking this whole scene was not cool. And yet, I was fine with the Dookie line? Go figure. Number 5, shock the system. It's time for the main event, Rip vs. Zeus, filmed live before a studio audience of maybe 200 people. What the hell is this, NWA Power? Instead of sitting ringside or whatever, Mr. Brell locks himself in a production studio that's overlooking the ring. Befuddled by the fact that Zeus isn't a very good wrestler and can't stand up to the awesome power of Ripomania, brother, Brell begins pulling out television wires in frustration, as one tends to do. Then Rip finishes off Zeus with an axe handle to the head. Sure, that's a good finisher, why not? And Zeus goes crashing to the TNA Impact 6-sided ring below, where the human wrecking machine, unfortunately, dies. Yeah, we all overlooked that minor plot point, didn't we? Back to Brel. Clearly, he doesn't know how electricity works, and the constant pulling of wires has created the biggest fireworks display this side of a Cody Rhodes entrance. One electrocution later, and suddenly, Zeus isn't the only one who's died during this televised wrestling match. No holds barred, fun for the whole family. Do you remember No Holds Barred? Leave us a comment of your most awkward moments in the comment section below, and be sure to thumbs up and like this video, and subscribe to Wrestling Merchandise and Memories for much more great content.